Genesis chapter 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made him. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and, behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in it a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou, and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee, and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so did he. Genesis chapter 6. Men began to multiply on earth, and daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw the daughters of men were fair or beautiful, and they took wives. The sons of God are a different entity than man. This phrase has not been used before in this book up until this point, so there is some significance here. God says, My spirit will not always strive with man, that he is also flesh. Strive meaning devoting energy or to contend with. So God says he will not always contend with man, that he's also flesh. And then at the end of verse 3, he says, Yet his days shall be 120 years. I interpreted this as meaning man's man's lifespan will be limited to 120 years. although we see that characters are living longer than that later on in the book. That's what this says. I am not an expert, but this is what I took this to mean. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, in the days just described when the sons of God were taking the daughters of men as wives. There were giants in the earth. And after the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, they bare children that became mighty men of old, men of renown. So what this is describing is the sons of God came and took the daughters of men as wives, and then they reproduced with them. And the reproduction of this entity, these other types of entities and women, were giants, were mighty men, powerful or great in size, that lived to be old, that lived for a long time, and men that were renowned. And renown means famous or highly honored. This is the second time that women were integral in causing chaos on the earth. The first time was in the Garden of Eden. Eve was convinced to disobey God, seeking to become a god herself. And the second time, they're reproducing with the sons of God. And if these sons of God were taking the daughters of men as wives, that wasn't assault, that was consensual. These two instances also illustrate a tendency of women wanting to be more than human, because that's how Eve was seduced. She was seduced by the idea that she could become God herself or like God herself. And the second time, she has an affinity to an entity that's more than man. Also, women are more likely to be approached or have the opportunities to sin. Verse 5. Man was wicked. His imagination and the thoughts of his heart were evil continually. God was remorseful, and his heart was grieved by his creation. Sorry. God vows to destroy creation, but found grace in Noah. Noah is Seth's descendant. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations, and he walked with God. Just meaning reasonable, good. Noah had three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was corrupt, corrupt meaning tainted, rotten, or unsound. The earth was corrupt and filled with violence. All flesh, or all creatures, were corrupted and filled with violence. God said he will destroy them with the earth. He tells Noah, make an ark, or a ship providing safety. Make an ark of gopher wood. Gopher wood has not been specifically identified, and the definition changes. So, gopher wood is a strong wood. That's what we know. It's a strong substance. Make an ark of gopher wood, and you should make rooms, and you shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is saying you should fix it firmly in place throughout the ark. Verse 15. This is the fashion. Fashion meaning style or the method. God is telling him how to build the ark. 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. The definition of cubits varies, but it's generally a foot and a half. Then it says the ark should have a window. In a cubit shall thou finish it above. I took this to mean a pointed top, or a top that uh, closes in as it goes upward, and then there's a foot and a half left at the top. But again, I do not claim to be an expert, just someone who has a great interest in learning what this book means. Verse 17, and behold, I, even I, will bring a flood of waters on earth to destroy all flesh. Every living thing on earth shall die. Verse 18, God made a covenant or a promise with Noah. Go into the ark with your wife, sons, and sons' wives. Take two of all living flesh to keep them alive, male and female. Bring two, male and female, fowls, cow, and creeping thing to keep them alive. Also, gather enough food for you and the animals. And verse 22, God did everything Noah instructed him to do. So we will move on to chapter 7. I will move on to chapter 7.